Okay, quick question before we really start. Have you ever known the grammar rule in your head, but then when you open your mouth, the wrong word jumps out anyway?
Yeah, that happens all the time. You understand the idea, but real conversation moves fast, and suddenly two small words feel strangely dangerous.
Exactly. And today we're talking about one of those sneaky little pairs, each and every. They look friendly, they sound simple, and somehow they still manage to confuse a lot of people.
And the tricky part is that both words are often possible, so the problem is not always grammar. A lot of the time is about focus, rhythm, and what sounds natural in real life.
Which is why this episode is for anyone who has ever said a sentence, paused, stared into space, and thought, wait, was that English or did I just invent something?
Honestly, that moment is a normal part of learning. So today, we're going to make this simple, practical, and easy to hear in everyday speech.
And right here near the start, a little reminder. If you enjoy learning English through real conversations, subscribe to Say It Real. Give this episode a like and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new one.
Because fluency really does start with real conversations, and the more often you hear natural patterns, the easier it gets to use them yourself.
So let's jump in with the big idea. We usually use each when we picture people or things separately, almost one by one, like little individual units.
And we usually use every when we think about all the people or things in a group together, or when we talk about repeated time, like habits and routines.
See, I already like this lesson more. That feels clean. Each is more individual, every is more group-like, and very common for routines.
Exactly. And listen to how close these can be. Each student got a worksheet. Every student got a worksheet. Both can be correct, but the feeling is slightly different.
Right, because when I hear each student, I kind of imagine the teacher physically handing one worksheet to Mia, one to Daniel, one to Sophia, like I can see the line moving.
Yes, but when you say every student got a worksheet, the focus shifts. Now I'm thinking more about the full class and the fact that nobody was left out.
So the meaning is close, but the camera angle is different.
That's actually a great way to say it. Same event, different camera angle. One zooms in on individuals, the other zooms out to the whole group.
I love when grammar becomes a movie. Suddenly, I care more.
Fair enough. Now, here's something important. Each often feels stronger when the number is small or when you want to highlight careful attention to separate items.
So if I say I checked each answer before I turned in my test, that sounds natural because I'm imagining answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, one at a time.
Exactly. You're showing individual attention. You looked at them separately. That's a very natural place for each.
Could I also say I checked every answer?
Yes, you could. It's not wrong. But each answer often feels a little more precise in that kind of sentence because the action itself is separate and careful.
Oh, I think I hear it now. So the verb matters too. Some actions naturally feel one by one.
Yes, verbs like check, call, help, thank, greet, hug, or speak to often work beautifully with each when the action happens person by person.
So if a manager talks to workers separately, I'd probably say the manager spoke to each employee.
Perfect. But if the manager sends one message to the whole company, then every employee got the email sounds very natural.
Ah, okay, that's nice. Same group, different action, different feeling.
Exactly. Now let's talk about time, because this is where every becomes extremely common in daily English.
And by extremely common, you mean phrases people say all the time, right? Like every day, every week, every month, every Friday.
Yes, those are real-life phrases you'll hear constantly. I go running every morning. We visit my grandparents every summer. She calls me every night. He forgets his keys every time.
That last one felt personal.
Maybe because it's realistic. And here's the key point. Each morning, each week, and each Friday can be grammatically possible, but every is usually more natural for everyday routines.
Good. That helps a lot because sometimes learners choose the more formal sounding option just because it feels safer.
Right, and that's a common trap. Something can be correct and still sound a little stiff in casual conversation. Our goal is not just correct English, it's natural English.
Which is why I love these episodes. We're not just memorizing rules, we're learning how real people actually talk.
Exactly. So let's do some quick choices. I'll give a situation, and you pick the better word.
Let's do it. Tiny grammar game mode activated.
Situation 1. The nurse walked around the room and spoke to patients one by one before the doctor arrived.
Then I'd say the nurse spoke to each patient.
Yes, because the action is clearly individual.
Situation 2. The clinic is open 7 days a week.
Every day.
Exactly. Very natural. Situation 3. I looked at 5 photos separately before choosing one.
I looked at each photo.
Perfect. Situation 4. We go to that market on Saturdays as a habit.
We go to that market every Saturday.
Beautiful. That's the pattern.
Okay, I'm feeling stronger already. Not powerful enough to fight crime, but definitely powerful enough to survive a conversation.
And honestly, that's the goal. Now let's bring this into real life. Imagine you work in a cafe. One customer comes in, then another, then another. You hand a loyalty card to every person individually.
Then I'd say, we gave a loyalty card to each customer.
Exactly. But if you want to describe the business in general, you might say the cafe is open every day, or every customer gets free water.
Wait, that second one is interesting. Why every customer there, not each customer?
Good question. Both are possible, but every customer can sound more like a general policy, a rule for the whole group. Each customer feels more like the individual act of giving.
So if I'm describing the policy, every works well. If I'm imagining the action happening person by person, each becomes stronger.
Exactly right. That little shift in focus is the heart of this lesson.
Okay, let's do another setting. Family life, because grammar gets very real around family.
It does. Imagine a parent kissing the kids goodnight. Would you say the parent kissed every child or each child?
I'd probably choose each child because I picture one kiss, then the next, then the next.
Yes. Now try this one. We go to my aunt's house every Christmas.
Every Christmas. That sounds very natural.
Exactly. Repeated time expression. Very common. And that's why phrases like every morning, every night, every weekend, every year, and every time are so useful to memorize as whole chunks.
Ooh, that's good. Not just grammar words, but full phrases I can pull out fast when I'm speaking.
Yes, because fluency is often built from patterns, not from stopping in the middle of a sentence to analyze everything.
Which, to be fair, is something I've definitely done. I've started a sentence, frozen, and then silently stayed at the ceiling like the answer might be written there.
A very human learning strategy. Not always effective, but definitely human.
Thank you for respecting my process.
Always. Now let's look at a common mistake. Some learners overuse each with routines because it sounds careful. For example, I drink tea each morning.
That's not wrong, but in everyday conversation, I drink tea every morning sounds more natural.
Exactly. Another one. We meet each Friday. Possible, yes, but we meet every Friday is what you'll hear much more often.
So for habits, my brain should probably test every first.
Yes, that's a smart habit. Not a perfect rule for every single sentence, but a very useful starting point.
Nice. A habit for talking about habits.
Exactly. Now let's flip it. Another common mistake is using every when the action is obviously separate. For example, the teacher checked every notebook one by one.
That sounds a little heavy. I think the teacher checked each notebook is smoother and more natural.
Perfect, because the phrase one by one already points towards individual action, and each matches that feeling beautifully.
So some sentences almost tell you the answer. If the image in my mind is separate actions, each starts glowing.
That is a very good instinct. Let's build that instinct with a few mini scenes.
Scene 1. Hotel reception. The receptionist gives a room key to guests as they arrive.
The receptionist gave a key to each guest.
Good. Scene 2. The hotel serves breakfast 7 days a week.
The hotel serves breakfast every day.
Excellent. Scene 3. You read all the comments individually before replying.
I read each comment before I replied.
Great. Scene 4. Your team has a meeting on Mondays.
We have a meeting every Monday.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of sentences you can use right away.
And I think that matters. When people learn grammar with random textbook examples, it can feel distant. But when the examples sound like work, family, school, shopping, and daily routines, the rule sticks better.
I agree. Real-life context gives grammar a job to do. It stops being abstract and starts becoming useful.
Okay, let's do a little correction round because this is where things really lock in.
Good. I'll say a sentence that is possible but not the most natural, and you improve it.
I'm ready. Please be gentle, but not too gentle.
Each day I check my email before breakfast.
Better for everyday speech would be, I check my email every day before breakfast.
Exactly. Next, the coach talked to every player separately.
I'd make that, the coach talked to each player.
Perfect. Next, each time I watch that movie, I cry.
That one feels a little different. It's not wrong, but every time I watch that movie I cry sounds more natural.
Yes, every time is one of those super common fixed phrases in real conversation.
Which means there are probably millions of people around the world saying, every time I hear that song, I get emotional.
Very likely. Language loves patterns like that.
Could we talk about small groups for a second? Because I feel like each shows up a lot with 2, 3, or 4 things.
It often does. For example, there was a name written on each box, or we sat on each side of the table, or the twins wore a bracelet on each wrist.
Oh, I like that. Each side, each hand, each eye, each page. It feels very neat and specific.
Exactly. Those are very natural uses. Each is excellent when you want to divide something into separate parts of units.
Grammar is becoming weirdly satisfying.
It happens. Now, let's go deeper for a moment. Sometimes both each and every are correct, but each feels more personal, while every feels more general or systematic.
So, I thanked each person feels warm and individual, but every person received an email feels more like a formal announcement.
Yes, that's a strong comparison, and hearing those tiny differences helps you sound more natural, more precise, and more confident.
And confidence matters so much in speaking. Sometimes the hardest part is not the rule, it's trusting yourself enough to choose and keep going.
That's so true. A lot of fluency comes from making a reasonable choice and moving forward instead of getting stuck.
So, let's help people do exactly that with a memory trick.
Here's a simple one. Each points your attention to individuals. Every points your attention to the whole set or a repeated pattern in time.
Nice. Each is one by one, every is all together or again and again.
Perfect. Short, simple, useful.
I would like that printed on a tiny trophy.
Ha! A grammar trophy? You've earned a small one.
Small? Wow, harsh.
Fine. A medium-sized trophy for outstanding service to English articles, prepositions, and today, tiny determiners.
I'll take it.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's slow down and do our word tour. This is the calm part where we revisit the most useful vocabulary and phrases from today.
Yes, take a breath, relax your shoulders, and just listen for meaning and rhythm.
First phrase, each person. We use this when we want to focus on individuals in a group. Example, each person got a name tag at the event.
Next, each student. Very useful in school or training situations. Example, the teacher spoke to each student after class.
Next one, each page. Great for instructions. Example, please write your name on each page.
Here's another, each side. Good for places and positions. Example, there were trees on each side of the road.
Now let's move to every. First, every day, extremely common for routines. Example, I practice English every day.
Every morning, another daily life phrase. Example, he goes for a walk every morning before work.
Every week, good for repeated schedules. Example, we have a team meeting every week.
Every year, useful for traditions and annual events. Example, my family takes a trip every year.
And one more very important phrase, every time. Example, every time I try to fix my printer, it gets worse.
That sentence is funny because it feels painfully real.
Real English usually is, and that's why these phrases matter. They show up again and again in daily conversation.
I like the word tour because it turns the lesson into something more usable, not just rules, but pieces I can actually carry into real life.
Exactly. And here's one last quick review. Use each when you want to highlight separate people or things. Use every for routines, repeated time, and whole group ideas.
So, I checked each message before sending it, but I check my phone every hour.
Perfect. Or the mother hugged each child, but we visit our grandparents every month.
Okay, I feel good now. Not, I will never make a mistake again good, because that would be a lie, but definitely, I understand this and can use it good.
That's the right kind of confidence. Real, calm, and practical.
And for everyone listening, try this after the episode. Make one true sentence with each and one true sentence with every from your own life.
Maybe something like, I answer each message before dinner. Or, I study for 20 minutes every night.
The more personal the sentence is, the easier it will be to remember.
And before we go, if this episode helped you hear the difference more clearly, subscribe to Say It Real, give us a like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next conversation.
Thanks for spending this time with us. Little by little, real conversations build real fluency.
We'll be back with more English you can actually use in daily life.
Until then, keep listening, keep speaking, and trust the progress you're making every day.